Did not get a chance to catch the full version of um, the Spark call this morning because I was taking care of another appointment matter with another teacher. But one of the things that I did pick up in the tail part of the call that I was able to jump on is the reality is that the language that we speak here on this platform is the language of wealth. What that means is that what you're going to find out is that most of the experienced leaders, experience just means that they've gone through some things. Mr. Rubio today was sharing the idea of how to leverage credit, how to understand the power of, understanding the rule of 72. That was the win that I caught towards the end, that was from some of the comments. But the piece that I caught was him showing people how to leverage the credit that they may have access to, but to do smart things. And so the smart thing is, for example, is hey, how do I use a 0% interest credit card? How do I leverage it maybe to decrease my debt? How do I leverage it maybe to get to a convention and show up and get more information? Because one of the examples was Kimberly Williams saying, hey, in my journey of developing this business, in the journey of her developing her business, there was a period of time where she could not make the financial decision to show up in that space, but she figured it out. She said she figured it out by the idea that, hey, maybe I'm going to bundle up in a room. Maybe I'm going to leverage some credit to show up at a space. And it really is an investment and an expense. It really is. I understand it. So when somebody has to now make a decision about a ticket to an event, or B, they got to now make hotel arrangements, and then C, most likely they got to fly in, it's an investment. And that's what I want you guys to recognize, that in business, it really truly is an investment that you make in you or the business idea. One of the reasons why I realized that the language of wealth needs to be spoken, I had an experience, two experiences today that I want to share with you, and I want to close out some of the pieces for yesterday's training that we were sharing from. And I want to recognize a couple folks too that have obviously been closing out the month strong, just so that we can kind of make sure that there's a little bit of recognition happening. But number one of the experiences that I had yesterday, my wife and I had a chance to go to dinner. And in the process of going to dinner with another couple that asked us some particular coaching questions about some matters. And when I realized that once you get prepared for understanding what wealth is, every room you walk into, there's a potential for a wealth conversation. Whether it's somebody saying, I want to level into a particular type of business, or B, just understanding their financial picture. And one of the conversations that we ended up having with a couple was that this couple was kind of discussing an opportunity they wanted to put in place. They wanted to ask some advice about how that was possible based on some things that they've seen us do. And then B, it ended up finding out that this wife was a benefit manager at a particular hospital here locally, a very large hospital, and she happens to be the human resource person. And the reason why I want you guys to recognize that when you get prepared, there is no place where you do not become valuable. So here's stay with me. What that means is that when I got here on the platform 2 years ago, I knew some things about money, but did I understand the full language of money? And do I still full understand it now? I have a better idea. But when you show up in every room like this, or you show up in a Spark and then they talk about credit, if you have the availability to do that, that allows you to understand that there's ways for you to leverage money in your favor. Or if you get in the room and now you have that understanding, you can now express that to your client and create value and help them position their finances even better, right? And the reason why I want you guys to recognize that, welcome to the call, Miss Santos. Welcome to the call. I think Mr. Ridley, I'm just checking in as I see people popping on. But one of the reasons why you guys become valuable, it's because now you can take that information and vet it for yourself to not only be true for you first. That's why we tell people to boss up or learn how to leverage information. But I want you to recognize that some people pay millions, if not hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars to walk into the same conversation. But the worst thing that I can tell a business partner of mine's here, hey, for the committed 125, I know if you stay here long enough, even if you've never made any money, you're going to walk away with a pretty healthy wealth education. So as I was sitting down with the lady, I didn't realize she was going to share this. I didn't realize even her role. She was like, hey, I'm one of the benefit managers at the hospital. We're the one that does the 403Bs, the 450s. She's just like spilling, in a good way, because we're just kind of chatting and having a great dinner. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. So you got to play cool when you hear opportunity. You can't just be like, hey, let me go get you at the throat. But by the end of that dinner, I was like, yeah, we need to make an appointment. I'd like to come and visit it because there's some things that you guys got going on because they closed out their pension at this place and they were doing pension buyouts and she was having problems with potential rollovers. And I was like, hey, I know the answers to that. Do you mind if I share? And in that conversation, I shared what I told her was possible, the institution that we work with. And she said, let's talk. And she said, by the way, my husband just unfortunately lost his position at his job and he needs to roll over his money in the account. And I said, well, say less. He just texted me a few minutes ago. And I said, no problem. We'll make an appointment. But once you start to understand educationally what you have access to, now every room you walk into, you understand that you could play a role of either creating an opportunity, leveraging a conversation, or finding an opportunity in ways that you can add value to the people that you know around you or the clients that you're going to potentially talk to. What does that tie into? The reason why we really push the convention for those that may sometimes feel like, hey, why are they talking about this convention all the time? The reason why is because we realize that when people do make the investment, if they can, or if they're willing to, or if they're willing to push a little bit further to make it into that room, we pretty much have a guaranteed promise that something is going to change. Either you're going to change because of the knowledge that you received, or B, you're going to be able to change people with the knowledge that you received, or you're going to be able to change your family. Because there's three things that Mr. Rubio talked about was the ability to change him as a potential business owner, B, to change his family, and how to leverage wealth, the concept of how money works, which is what really wealth is. Wealth is the concept of how money actually really works. Because wealth to me is an actual birthright. So when we get up every morning, I'm basically telling everybody, hey, the promise is if you learn how to leverage this information, you now have positioned yourself to be better. And one of the reasons why I want you guys to recognize that, I'm going to share my screen and share a little bit of a presentation. Then we want to recognize some of the folks and have you guys share some of your wins today before we close out this Friday. But I want to finish yesterday's conversation so that I can give you guys preparedness after this event. And the reason why I want you guys to be highly prepared is because, let me see if I can pull up the slides. What did I do with this? Because I actually got a chance to prepare some PowerPoint information for you guys that I think will also kind of, and I'll share with anybody who wants it and email it to you or whatever the case is. But let me share my screen. I was able to kind of put a quick 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm going to open up the call to you guys so that you can share a little bit and have some of the other leaders that might be available today. But one of the things that I was able to do was share the idea. Screen sharing has stopped. Let's do this again. All right. So let me know if you guys can see this white PowerPoint. If anybody could just give me a quick voice, if you guys can see
Yes.
that
Yes,
PowerPoint.
we can see it.
Perfect. Come on, computer, work with me today. All right, perfect. So I don't want to go through everything yesterday, but for those that may not have been on the call, what I want you guys is not to become is just an information gatherer. In order for the business really to work for you or any business is that you're going to have to learn how to implement. And implementation is going to become the value point on how you can create. So what happened to me yesterday was like, hey, I now am aware that I understand the information that I have access to when I walk into a Spark, when I walk into a mastermind. This is our mastermind call. And sometimes it's mastering your mind. Maybe it's mastering information or mastering how to develop a solution. But you're going to gather this information and you got to learn how to implement it. The reason why I'm not afraid to talk about myself anymore is because I realize it's okay. If you were built to do something, share from that perspective. What that means is that when that couple started talking about finances, I had the language of wealth that I learned and gathered. And I said, hey, I want in. Let me have some of this conversation. Let me share some value, not your name and phone number. I gave you some value based on what I've learned, or let me tell you that I can introduce you to people that can help solve this problem. And then people will automatically raise their hand because what you did was you literally implement. It says, um, because now you're creating opportunity. Now, to go a little bit faster, the reason why I want you to be an implementer in this field, let me go back. I want you to become an implementer because an implementer really turns ideas into daily activities. It literally measures the activity, the follow up, and improves through repetition, basically. That's what implementation really does. So, the reason why you don't need to know all of this at once, it's just that if you're just an information gatherer, really all you're doing is collecting ideas, you're attending training, taking notes, but there is no such time as a perfect moment to begin. The reason why you begin now, you begin with what you have. If it's the rule of 72, like Miss Marlena would say, hey, I can do a quick napkin presentation, start with the rule of 72 because what Mr. Rubio said earlier was like, hey, I'm literally telling you that if you don't get a management of your management of your debt is the reverse idea of how you can earn income with the rule of 72. And you've heard Miss Marlena say that before, or when we've leveraged that in our getting started rate training. But the reason why you got to get to the point of preparing for the convention, I said yesterday, this is just a review so I can get to the last notes. I want you to protect your health, your energy, and your mind in that place. But I want to show you now how to build. When I come back from convention, I'm already in this motion where the last couple of days I started calling some of the existing business partners, reaching out to them and saying, hey, when we come back, we're on attack. Attack means that you need to leverage what you have access to because in this business, we are building people. In the building of people, that means we have to have conversations with people. So one of the places I was saying, congratulations to Miss Felicia Beard Hobson that actually just joined our organization. She just had her first grand opening. And one of the things that we did was, hey, Miss Felicia, do me a favor, start gathering an inventory of the people that you know so that we can reach out to those individuals. And what happened with her, she reached out to a large amount of individuals. She had a great amount of people attend her grand opening. And then we already started doing some of the follow-up activity. And we had an appointment scheduled today. We just moved it to Monday. And then we're going to get together at 1 o'clock today. And I'm just giving you live, real examples that we're going to call the rest of the people who attended her grand opening and say, hey, let's have a conversation. Now, the grand opening is just the first part of what we do in this system to leverage the ability for you guys to get access to people to do what with the people. You're going to discover their situation. Write this down, please. You're going to go ahead and present some educational information. You're going to do a needs analysis. And then after you identify all their problems, you're going to offer them a solution. Hey, an IUL is going to work out great here. A 403B can work out here. A Roth IRA can work here. Or, hey, I noticed you just left your job. Your money's sitting in your old 401k. Let me show you how I can protect your money because what you learned in the wealth formula was that, hey, there are 3 different places where you can grow your money. You can do it in a fixed environment. You can do it in a variable environment. You can do it in a indexing environment. But the only way that you guys are going to be able to leverage this in your favor is that you got to take an inventory. So that means part of what you're going to have to do before you get to convention is to begin to identify who are you working with. And unfortunately or fortunately, where maybe I realize that over the course of time, some people may not like to talk to their warm market list, but then who are you going to talk to? If it's not the people that you love the most, if it's not the people that surround you, who are you going to talk to? Which is fine. Maybe you need a little bit more time. But the reason why you talk to your friends, family, coworkers, because that's who you actually have. The person that I was on the phone with today, that is a friend of mine that I've known for 20 years, happens to be a principal in a school. And I reached out to her. I was like, yo, what are you guys up to? I had a conversation with her. And in the conversation, she was like, hey, this is what's happening with the kids. This is what's going on. Hey, I'm trying to move. Hey, what do you think about that? I said, hey, we should sit down. I didn't tell her I want to do business with her. I just reached out. She was part of my inventory list. Hey, how are you doing? What's up? We should talk. I've been doing that to people for the last couple of days. It doesn't mean everybody says yes, but I identified my target. That means some people might be part of your email list. They might be part of your phone list. They might be part, but Princess Map said it the better. What? Hey, I took my cell phone and I said, yo, I realized that I actually have XYZ amount of contacts. These are people that are part of your community, church community, organizational. And yes, here's how you're going to become confident to talk to them. The reason why I can share this with you is because, yes, I also had a little bit of a chicken list of people that I didn't want to reach out to particularly. So I'm just telling you guys my truth so that you can identify that once you become confident in collecting the information and you begin to implement the information and you position the information in your mind, the reason why you got to reach out to your contacts is now you got to make the information turn into a result. And one of the first places that I'm going to ask you is say, hey, I want you guys to become very clear that you identify and you organize and then you prioritize who is the person that you can create an opportunity with. Now, let's say that person didn't want to do business with me, but who do you recommend that I could do business with? By the way, did you know that I'm working within the school districts? By the way, did you know that I've done some presentations? By the way, I'm trying to organize to create some more partners. That was one of the things I said. She said, well, my son might not be doing too much these days, but what about him? I said, well, let's see what that looks like. Not looking for everyone, which is what I've been telling everybody. I'm looking for the ones who are ready to go. But I will give an opportunity to those who are willing to at least say, yes, I raised my hand and let's figure it out. But through this list that you're going to organize after convention, you're going to be able to identify either business partners, potential clients, or you're going to have your friends tell you who else do you know that might need my service. If it's not me at the time, think of me in the future so that you can let people know that you're in business in financial planning. And I'd love to express what I do well. And what I do well is I teach people how to organize their money. I teach people how money works. I teach people how to leverage solutions that they can put in place so that they can retire better. You have to become your own commercial in business. And the reason why this becomes valuable is that once you come back from convention, you got to have that game plan like we talked about yesterday. And while you're creating your phone game environment, I want you to do this. Number one, this is your opportunity to reconnect with these people, but I want you to listen first. What I realized yesterday, the art of listening is extremely powerful. As I had dinner, I wasn't selfishly involved in figuring out a way to find an opportunity. I became identified and saying, hey, these are relationships. Let's have dinner. Let's have a discussion. And I listened. And in the midst of listening, I'm like, oh, Q1, you're a benefit manager. I didn't even strike then. I waited. I listened some more. Hey, I got a problem with how we're trying to prioritize this within our employee. And I listened some more. Hey, my husband is no longer available at work. He needs to move money. And I listened some more. And the reason why I listen is because now I have been prepared with the information that I have gathered. And when it's appropriate in that conversation, I strike. What that means is I go ahead and say, hey, advance, earn the next conversation and schedule the appropriate appointment. Hey, Eric, it was great having dinner with you last night. Do me a favor, text me tonight if you'd really like to have that conversation. He texts me. Or if not, if I don't hear from you, I will call you to set up an appointment. But what happens is now you create the opportunities because you leverage when you get back. You're going to figure out that game of who you're talking to. You're going to create something that allows you to have daily standards when you come back. Who are you emailing? Who are you texting? Who are you reaching out? How often are you doing that consistently? Let me tell you guys one more thing that I want to have you guys prepared for. When you begin to look at your schedule, is your schedule prioritizing that reality? The reason why I like sharing my schedule, I've learned now that it's important to prioritize. Hey, this is my phone time. Every once in a while, I'll sacrifice it for creating an opportunity, an appointment. But most of the time, my intention is to reach out to people. Every once in a while, when I'm hitting the field, I'm going to be there on Wednesday, and I'm not blocking it because I'm being rude to you. I have an activity of engagement that I got to fulfill. Now, the reason why I want you guys to identify in your schedule, hey, in the morning time, before I get on that prayer call, best believe I'm texting, calling, and reaching out and leveraging opportunities so I can create green on the calendar. If it's not me doing it. It might be the business partner that I'm working with. But if you are reaching, engaging, and following up, then it becomes 10 times easier for you to develop the listening skills when you have these conversations with people so you can position the work that you need to get accomplished in this space. It says every opportunity should move through the discipline process. I need you to connect, create an appointment, and then you're going to provide a solution. The connection point for you guys is the ability to leverage, right? Miss Ma, let's see who I have here. Just I make sure I can come back to my real world. Because sometimes Miss Gabriella, I'll get too far. Mr. Jones, sometimes I'll get in my own space. Miss Amanda, Miss Monica, when I train, sometimes I'll lose. So I want to make sure I stay connected with you, Miss Tammy. I see you. But the reason why I tell people this is important is because I begin to realize, like, hey, I connect with people, create interest, start naturally, ask questions, and look for a reason to continue the discussion. That's what business really is. Miss Gabriella does it great. Miss Gabriella really does do it great because I've heard her testimonies of saying, hey, the other day, her and Miss Marlena, they went to go present with a group of individuals. What they did was figure out a connection of how they can go now deliver value, which is implement the wealth information that they received to a group of people who have never heard it before that might need their help. And as she discovers the situations that they need, she said, hey, I realize that you might need my help. I realize that you might need a Roth. I might realize that you got to roll over your money. I realize that you might have a life insurance need because now we're going to present, discover, we're going to do an analysis, and then we're going to educate. We're going to help you make a decision. During the process of a great opportunity Ms. Gabriella was doing, I happened to see her, so I'm remembering the examples. Through the process, what she was doing was I connected with this couple. They have a great amount of resources. They needed some information. She educated them, and now she's trying to move them through the solution process. But the reason why follow-up becomes the key, guys, is because sometimes people got things going on in their lives, and you got to stay persistent because this is your business that you're growing. And the reason why I want you guys to get comfortable with that reality is because as you begin to understand, it says your engagement strategy must work in person and after the event. Meaning that the reason why I like going onto the field is because sometimes I will do worksite events. I will do workshops. I will do community events. I will do associate meetings. I will do individual person appointments in person. I realized that the reason why we went out to dinner the other night, I was like, you know what? That's cool. Let's do it. Because I haven't talked to them in a while. I really wasn't in the mood to do it. My wife was like, let's do it. I said, all right, I'm going to follow your lead. It was the best move that we made. We had great dinner, and I created business in that space because I was listening for the opportunity to add value, not just grab a name and number and say, I can sell you life insurance. I said, well, hey, it sounds like this is what you're dealing with. Do you mind if I share some information with you? And as I shared information, I built trust, I built confidence, and then I say, hey, do me a favor. It's okay that I reach out to you. Perfect. I'd love to get that done. Now, you got to follow up because, yes, they might have said, yes, I'm interested. They may know that they like the idea. They might have been excited that night. But if you don't follow up, it just means that all you did was create an opportunity. But so what I mean, what I say to some of the organizational members, as you walk into schools, if you walk into small businesses, you walk into military, you got to leverage your calendar like nobody's business. That means you create opportunity, you schedule, and you put outreach, and you put appointments, and you follow up every week. You know who I love when I see that? Miss Tammy has the craziest follow-up game via email. I shared that with you guys yesterday. Because what she is realizing is that, hey, these people didn't say no. What they said was, I might be busy or I might not want to make the decision. Hey, there's somebody who said something. I don't know who said it to me, so the credit is to you. Just tell me if you would have said it. Well, people would, I think it was Miss Marilyn Granado. She did a survey with some of her people, and the biggest thing that one of the things that she identified with some of the people was like, sometimes I'll just procrastinate making the decision. So the teacher really needs your help, but they might be in procrastination mode. You don't have to be disrespectful in your follow-up. You don't got to be upset. You just say, hey, listen, let me reach out to you because you said to me that this was a situation that you wanted to deal with. The reason why you filled out the card, the reason why you gave me your name and phone number is because you really want me to get you on the calendar. And if I'm in business trying to grow The reason why I want you guys to attack when you come back is now you're positioning yourself. If you do it with your warm market first, that's your practice field, or that could be your larger opportunity. And if you're doing it in your natural market, keep digging. Hey, you don't want my help, Mr. Eric? What about anybody else that you know? And when you reach to anybody else, well, who else do you know that might need my help? This is what I do. And the reason why you say that was now, if you don't have a natural market, then you can't find an excuse in the niche market. The niche market says that I can, at least in this business that we presented, the reason why we don't buy leads is walk into a school. Walk into a military base if you have it in that area. Walk into a small business. Find the niche that you concern. Ms. Gabriella says she used to be in public speaking. So not public speaking, public, what's the role that you played, Ms. Gabriella? What was the role that you had? If you unmute for a second, what was your role?
Public service, community services, public service.
So that means if Ms. Gabriella went to every public service entity, she could turn that into a niche. She could say, listen, the only person that I want to talk to is people who are in public service. She can walk to every township in America and say, by the way, since you are a nonprofit organization, I can help you with 403Bs. I can help you with 457s. I can talk retirement. I can have the conversation. So you can make anything a niche. Schools just happens to be something that I fell in love with. And the idea is that I understand the education space. And that is one of the markets that I will pursue staff orientation, retirement education, recognition events, and financial literacy workshops so that I can create clients. So that means if Miss Gabriella went to every municipality in California and built a relationship, and if only 3 of those municipalities said, yes, I'd love that you come and serve us every year, and we'll give you access to all of our employees. That means all of our mayors, all of our councilmen, all of our individual members that serve in the community, administrators, the people who do taxes, all of those people need to have a conversation about financial literacy. Just because they're a municipal worker doesn't make them special. It makes them special at what they do, but it makes you special because you can talk to anybody you want to, as long as you took the information, you say, can I implement it in your community? The reason why this is your attack plan is because now you don't got to buy any leads. The reason why you don't got to buy any leads, there's too many people to talk to. I recognize that I've had people around me that I haven't talked to, maybe because of my own ego, or maybe because I believe I'm not valued enough to have the confidence, which is not true, but maybe I'm lazy about it. I don't know what it is. I'll find out because I'm going to talk to Hans Augustin too, because if I want to win, I got to find people to talk to. And we just happen to have a situation that allows you guys to do that. So pick something. I want you to pick something when you come back. Pick people. Pick a conversation with churches. Pick a conversation with association. If you've been in the real estate game, that means you should know as many homeowners as Powell, Hans. You should know plenty of buyers, Hans. You should know plenty of professionals, Hans. So that should be talking to anybody that you choose. If you've been in the nurse, I heard Audra say that. I was a nurse, and in the nursing field, I can add value to the community that I understand, and I just have to implement the information. The reason why I want to give you guys this information today is because I don't want you coming back with any excuses. And I'm not saying you have an excuse. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not upset at you. I'm just telling you some game, because the whole idea is the reason why I want you guys to recognize this. I told a couple people that I reached out, I said, hey, we're in the game to make money. Nothing's wrong with making money and having success. It's the love of money that you should have a problem with. But if you understand that you don't love money, but you can make it and you can create it, now the way that you're going to create is you're going to have conversations. You're going to create a phone game. You're going to create an email game. You're going to create a text game, and you're going to find somebody to love on. If you've been in this small and bit, if you love schools, find who you are in love with and go help them. Because you have valuable information that I now realize that even that I thought people had certain things organized, I realize that they don't have access to it, not because they're not smart people. They just don't have access to the information, and you do. That means once you find your audience and then you turn them into a referral house, who do you know? When you talk to that teacher, who do you know? Who do you believe I should have a conversation with? Is there anybody else in your family that would find this beneficial? Is there, hey, I know, I heard you mention the other day, myself and Miss Tammy, real life examples. We helped a teacher, and I said, by the way, the teacher wanted to improve something for her son. I said, we haven't talked to your son yet. And she says, you know what? That's true. I said, do you mind if you give Miss Tammy his name so we can reach out to him to have a conversation? She said, absolutely. Because I asked, and closed mouths do not get fed. That means when you're looking at your applications, one of the reasons why Kim Howard said to you guys one day, if you happen to have clients already, when you come talk yet, how are you doing? Just have a conversation. Don't sell anything. Hey, just checking up on you. Aida Ramirez said it the other day. Just checking up on you. Has anybody reviewed the policy? Do you remember why we put it in? Hey, by the way, have we ever talked to your beneficiaries? Do you think that there's an opportunity? Hey, do you mind if I have her phone number or his phone number? Hey, you know what? I realized that the last time when we talked with you, we haven't talked with your spouse. I did that to the other day, a lady, another person that we met at a school. I was like, hey, that's great, but I'd like to have your husband on the call too. I will sacrifice my first appointment to get everybody sometimes. Now, when I say sacrifice, be careful. I mean, I will talk to the wife first. I'll have a conversation. But if you tell me your husband's important to you, best believe now I'm going to be like, hey, is he important in making the decision? Well, let's have him on. Now I got a 2-for-1 special. Hey, husband, let me up to date you. That's what I did to him. I said, hey, let me update you as to now it takes a little bit longer, and that's okay, but I'm going to win one way or the other, which means that let me get you updated. Let me get you up to speed with your wife. Your wife told me that this is important that she makes a decision together with you. Let me educate you too. The rule of 72 says this based on the FNA that I identified, this is what's going on with your family. Do you agree that we can put more protection in place so that if something happens to you, sir, your wife is great. If something happens to you, ma'am, your husband is great. Because based on the income you guys have, it sounds like if something goes wrong, you guys are not going to have enough to protect yourself. I do not believe in death, but I do know death happens. What that means is I do not want you to die, but if you did die, how is your wife going to be okay? How is your children going to be okay? So the reason why I want you to find an audience, you find the audience that you believe in and you expand that. Expand. When I say expand, like you attack. The next 90 days when you come back, I want you to attack. Because you're in business. You got to earn income. You got to take care of your family. You got to enjoy life. You got to show up at the trips so that it's worth it. The other day, my 50K watch came in and I gave it to my wife. And she's like, I said, put it away. I'm not putting it on until I hit the next milestone. I don't want to get comfortable with the watch. That's great. Thank you, OIC. I appreciate it. I love the recognition, but this journey is not done because I still got to expand. As I expand, I build the attack plan. I want you guys to come back with the foundation that the first 30 days, you're going to complete your inventory. You're going to verify your data. You're going to begin conversations. You're going to schedule your initial appointments. And then you engage in the building of discovery meetings, follow up, conducting and developing workshops, and strengthening the places that you know you want to serve. You choose this. Hans won't choose it for you. Whatever your background is or whatever we do in this system that works, you do it to the highest ability because all we really are doing is talking to people. And the more people we talk to, then we get a chance to convert them by doing a needs analysis. We're going to present them a solution, and then we're going to offer you. Now, I have learned to become more confident in offering. By the way, you do not have enough life insurance. Let me show you what you can do. And if this is what your problem, hey, can you do on a 10? And I offer everything now, 10, 15, 20 year, because it might be based on your financial needs. It might be on ability, but it ain't based on me. I'd love for you to make a $500 contribution, but if you do a $32 one, I'll take it. Why? I'm now building the relationship. I'm not greedy. I'm telling you what you can afford. I'm positioning you to continue the client relationship. And who do you know next? Myself and David Upton was on the phone the other day helping one of his family members. And then we did the wife. Now we did the husband. And then she said, I need to do the children now. One appointment turned into a second appointment that turned into another appointment to close more business because you develop the relationship where they need it and you pursue it, you educate and you develop and you pursue the relationship in favor of you creating more business. The reason why I want you guys to come Because as you create the foundation, you will leverage momentum and you'll create results because this is true. The reason why we're fighting, well, the reason why we're fighting, we're not fighting like we're angry at each other. We're fighting to build a business that will prove the results that you need to meet your financial expectations. Right? What time do I have? All right. So we talked about first quarter, second quarter. When you come back, it says establish the activity, strengthen the consistency, and scale your production so that when you get to next year's performance event, when you get back to May and June, any of you guys who have a goal of associate, field director, especially business director, it starts right now. And the way that you're going to start is that you're going to build one of the largest businesses that you choose to build because you have the time and the means. Now, the reason why I keep telling my kids, and I'll tell you guys respectfully, that you're running out of time, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's just that things move quickly in this world that we have. And while you got present opportunity today, you got to capitalize it. Here's what's going to happen 3 more years from now. I'm just telling you, I already know it's going to work. For those that are going to be celebrating with me, I'm going to be happy. For those who might need a little bit more encouragement, I'm giving you what I believe is going to happen. See, what's going to really happen is for those that stay consistent and start to level a leverage of discipline, some of us are going to be fine because all we really needed to do is make an extra 20 grand and I will be happy. Some of us are going to build businesses that because we said we wanted those businesses to be large. Some of you guys just came to pay off your home. Pay off your home, please, with the money that you can make extra. If it was taking care of your children, get them paid for. And if you met that goal, I am thrilled. But if you're here, how are you using the time? This is why I say you're running out of time. It's not because you're not smart. It's not because you did something wrong. You're running out of time because your kids got to get to college now. You got to pay off the home soon so that that pressure, the conversation that I had with the person this morning, she was like, listen, I'm selling this because I'm going over here because I don't want this financial pressure anymore. It's just me and the husband in the home. All the children are gone. Why do we have this huge house? I said, I got it. So what she was saying to me was that I just want joy, peace, and control. And if that's what you're seeking for, you got to do it right now. Now means that you're going to pursue the opportunity that you have access to. The reason why I become very disciplined in this space is because I already know that I'm in competition. When I built property, I built the idea that I was in competition on a timeline. Somebody asked me a question yesterday. They said, hey, how come? I said, asked my wife. I said, I already knew 5, 6, 7 years ago that change the regulations and certain things would change because when something changes, it moves in a different space and it moves in a different situation. Same thing here. While you guys have the ability to be licensed, while education is not a particular requirement, while you have the ability to walk into schools that say, yes, you can do this now, there could be a case that one day a school's like, no, the only person I want in my school is Gabriella. Why? Because Gabriella is so good at what she does. We were talking that conversation. I forgot who I was talking to. I won't say that. But they were telling me like, hey, they only want this person in the school. Why? Because the school understood that that person was confident with all the people in the community. So while you have wide opportunity, while the municipality is open, while your association is willing to have a conversation, you're not just fighting against the inability for you to show up. There might be somebody else that is just as smart, that's just as hungry, as just as capable, that says, no, church, because you didn't show up, I did from another organization. Because keep in mind, in the financial services space, it's not just OIC. So the reason why I use time as a conversation, it's not because you did something wrong, is that there is truly competition. If I don't show up and become the fruitful, multiple individual that dominates the school district, there might be an equitable that shows up and says, hey, Hans wasn't on his game. I'm taking over. That's what I mean by time. So I hope this information has been helpful to you guys. I want to have you guys open up with some of your wins. I know Mr. Jones was winning yesterday. I know there's some of you people that really just got signed up with the organization. So I'm going to pass the call back to some of you guys for some feedback. If you guys could share your wins. Today's Friday. Nothing can make me upset. That's why I got my orange on. It's bright outside. I did the work that I could do for the week. I'm still going to run tomorrow on Saturday and do my work. And on Sunday, you're not going to be able to find me. Not because I'm being disrespectful, because I got to love my family too. I love you guys enough Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I got to be with the rest of the people that I believe in too. But I want you guys to win. That's all we're going to talk about. The call's open, Miss Gabriella. Those that might want to share some insight, Miss Tammy, I see you. Miss Amanda. Anybody else would like to share a win as we kind of close out this Friday opportunity? The call is
I,
open to you guys.
I would like to share. You talked about when was it? I can't remember if it was Wednesday evening or yesterday. I can't remember, but you had mentioned, how are you preparing yourself for convention? Have you made your list of who you're going to talk to? Um, how are you going to show up? And I started really reflecting on that this week, and I really started looking back at my history, my work history, my appointment history specifically. And I started writing down every single person that I've met with. And, I have so many names from so many teacher appointments, and I haven't followed up. I haven't followed up. In January, I had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, right? 11. I did close two, but I never followed up with the other nine. So, I'm hoping that coming back from convention, and just like you're talking about today, is if the teacher space is my space that I want to claim, I really need to, how do I say it? How do I say it? Like, let's just say if I had a camera, right, following me around and I'm saying this is who I am, if I look back at the footage, am I really serving teachers the way I say I want to serve teachers? Life gets busy. I get it because I have family, I have kids. But again, I just really need to focus and what is my intentionality. I need to follow up with these people. I need to be true to who I say I am. If I am about sharing financial literacy, why am I not doing it every single day? Why am I allowing people to fail? If I don't follow up, I'm allowing them to fail. I'm allowing them to set them their financial success aside. And if I truly want to be an advocate for family success, why am I not following up with them? So not only am I failing myself in my role that I say that I have, but I'm also failing others. So I don't know. That's the perspective that I am where I'm at right now. And truly, I want to say, you know what? When I look back, did I really fulfill this role? Did I really fulfill it? If tomorrow's judgment day and God said, hey, this is what you said you were going to accomplish, you've only helped a handful of people. It's kind of like my mission at church, right? I do serve at church. I try to go to mass every single day. Um, how am I preparing myself to serve the parents when the confirmation year comes? Am I reading scripture? Am I reflecting? Does my life reflect that that person that I'm supposed to be? So anyhow, thank you very much. Very powerful. And I'm really doing a deep dive. In February, I had 15 appointments. I closed one. I know again because I wasn't intentional with my appointment, even with my appointments. I just wanted to go through the motions. Okay, that's it. It didn't work. No, it's not that it didn't work. What did I do to ensure that I brought value to them and that I followed up in this, with a sense of urgency, with a sense of urgency. So that's what I have to share. I just want to really be you know, a financial educator. I truly want to be, and how am I going to be that person? Yeah, I need to
And I think
check off the
the
boxes.
beauty that about what you just said, Miss Gabriella, is I'm only sharing with you guys just to also add value to one thing that she said, is saying, hey, I've made these same challenging mistakes like you, Miss Gabriella. Not a mistake. I didn't understand in the very beginning because I'll give you guys a truth. Sometimes when you're comforted by resources, you can still feel like, so what? She didn't answer the phone. But that's not true. If I came to the platform and I wanted to
Yeah.
be a financial educator, then Hans, too, Miss Gabrielle, I'm just telling you, I had to take responsibility and start saying, I got plenty of names and phone numbers. I don't know if I was aggressively following up like a Miss Tammy.
Yeah.
And so I just realized the other day, I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Like, this is real. Like, this is 2 years in the
Hmm.
game. We got to really turn this up in a way that says, hey, we want to create results. But we really sometimes already, even I, Miss Gabrielle, just telling you the truth, like, hey, I've literally walked across from a business. I'm like, I'm not going in there today. Not because I was being rude. I just was like,
Yes, yes.
And so I'm just sharing with you guys that this has become real for me. And I'm saying make it real for you that if you're in this space and you're
Hmm.
creating, the reason why I say you're running out of time is because you're
We are.
spending time in a space that says you wanted to create a result. Hans, if you're going to spend 20, like I told my wife the other day and I told my family, I don't have a turn back button. I already invested 24 months in this space. I got to turn this into $1 million. Because
Yeah.
what I've done is that I would have wasted 24 months of my wife saying, "Hey, let's just go to do this." Or, "Hey, I would have been available to my son. I would have been available to my mom." I cannot afford to take 24 months and invest it and not get a result. So, hey, Hans, the reason why 3 years it has to become a priority of attack like you're realizing now, Miss Gabrielle, not that you didn't realize it, it's just that you got plenty of names and phone number. I too realize that I got
Mhm.
plenty of names and phone number so that I should be asking for more. If I got to send this person a letter, I'm not telling you turn this into production. I'm not talking about staff. I'm talking to everybody. Say, hey, if you sent out 2 letters a day to some of your people that you really believed, if you sent out 3 emails a day, if you made 8 phone calls a day, whatever your capacity, part time or full time, I told somebody who was part-time recently, I said, hey, I'm not asking you to do anything but make a decision on what hours you're going to use to create more money in this business, which was the original goal. So you need to dedicate the 10 hours part-time, or if you're full-time. Now, the reason why I'm worse than you, Miss Gabriella, I'm full-time. I'm not saying worse than you, I'm a bad person, but hey, Hans, what's your excuse? What is your excuse? I don't have an excuse. So, hey, when you get to convention, I'm going to ask everybody the question, hey, why did you do this? How was this possible? When I come back, I'm going to take that information and attack. And then when I get discouraged, I'm going to hear Miss Gabriella on me and she's like, hey, guess what? I just killed it. Okay, Hans, get back on your horse. She killing it. You should be able to kill it too. Anybody else?
Hmm.
Anybody else? I'm sorry. Don't let me get
No,
my
this is really good. This is really good. My kids are soon going to be in college, and I need to hurry up. Even if I started their IO early and I have, that's been building, I still need to hurry up so I could be comfortable.
God's grace. It sounds like Mr. Jones, you were going
Amen.
to say something,
Yeah,
sir?
yeah, I was going to jump into it. Man, I'm enjoying the passion, brother Hans. I'm enjoying like the tone of the call. And Miss Gabrielle, you shared some very insightful stuff as well. What I gained from that and kind of this season that I've been in like the past couple weeks, is the pretty much like the identity part. And I'm noticing like the more that I make this like my identity, like who I am, the more results I get. So for example, like that's what I took from what Miss Gabriella said. Like I'll share a couple wins from today, what I consider wins. I started off the day, dropped my kids off at daycare, and I spoke to the center director, and just learning all the things I've been gathering from the small business retirement space. I just asked a couple of the right questions, right? And then asked if we could have an event. So I put the bug in her ear to have an event around like September, back to school time. And yeah, pretty much like that. That's going to be a fruitful event as well. I get out the parking lot. I go to like this pretzel store, right? Just to grab like some soft pretzels. And something like in me, and I'm gonna say it was the helper, the Holy Spirit, right? Something in me was like, just speak, like just speak to the cash register, like mention it to him, like, mention what you do. Like, and I didn't act on it. I'll be honest, I didn't act on it, right? But I come back home and as I'm parking my car, I go to walk the dog, and it's another small business. It's a an electrician. He has his truck parked outside. So I go in, I speak to him, start telling him, asking him the right questions, right? Asking him if they have any benefits, this, that, and the third. Oh, do you have life insurance for you and your family? Right? Find out he has a family. And he was interested and took my information down. Right. So boom, me and my dog, we stay on our walk that we do every day. And now it's a landscaper at the end of my block, right, doing work on somebody's property. So I pretty much do the same thing with him, right? Talk to him, ask him a couple questions. And I'm laughing because like I like I believe what Miss Gabriella was hinting to, like if this is what I'm gonna do, it's gonna have to be my identity, right? Like I need everybody to know that this is what I do. Like, and that's why I believe, family and friends have been turning a corner because they know that this is like when you see me, you see licensed financial professional, you see OIC, you see, you know, financial expert. So, um, yeah, that's just a couple of the wins I wanted to share. Happy Friday. It's been a great, blessed day so far. I'm ready to close out the month strong. And Brother Hans, thank you for preparing us to win convention and come out of convention running harder. So thank you.
No, no, and what you said was excellent because as you guys begin to understand, if you begin to identify as the financial planner and educator, then there is no conversation you can't get involved in. It doesn't have to be a yes. It just has to be you saying yes. And I understand what you feel, Mr. Jones, because I have also been urged in places like you should say something. And I'll get conservative. You see this guy that you see on this phone, he'll get super conservative sometimes and be like, but that's a comfort zone in me that would be like, yeah, you can go get another one, but that's not true. The one that I could have got that was right in front of me, who probably was like, hey, I'm glad you talked to me as a landscaper. I'm glad you talked to me as a, because they don't even sometimes realize that they need the help until you bring value. And what I want you guys not to do is make the mistake that I made personally, or many have made before, where we were in spaces and we saw, oh, we got time. When you come back home, you do not have time. You might have time to go see your wife. You might have time to go do this, and you got to still do your life. But a business owner is on now. You take some time off. You got to breathe. You got to enjoy life. Hey, you know what? I'm having dinner tonight, tomorrow night with my family because that's the time that I created for it. But when Monday through Saturday, and even sometimes on Sunday when I'm in church, I'm still a little bit on. I'm like, oh, word. I'm listening. Hey, by the way, when I get on Monday, I'm going to give you a call because I think you might need access to some information. When I get to church, I'm a little bit more conservative because I don't want the church feeling like I'm running through them. But I'll be like, hey, brother, you know what? Let me take your information. I'll share some information with you on Monday. Maybe that'll be of value. So wherever you go, if you identify that you can add value, you're in position. So I love it, Mr. Jones. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Go ahead and speak on your business before we wrap up. We got 3 more minutes, like Mr. Rios was saying the other day. Anybody else? Don't be afraid. I see the hearts, Miss Betty. Look like you want to add some value there.
Good morning. Good morning, Supreme Team. Good morning, Huns. I definitely enjoyed your training this morning, along with Miss Gabriella shared and KJ, because I don't know why that is. It's like, the flesh is the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So it's like, when you get those unctions from the Holy Spirit, it's about being obedient as well, right? Because this is a ministry for us. I mean, it definitely is for me. So it's being obedient because, the Holy Spirit knows all things, even that it already knows that that person needs what we have to offer. They need the education. So in that, just moving forward and asking God to really give us that yes, that real yes to, yes, that I'm here to provide a service and I'm here to make somebody else's life better. And I did want to speak about convention as well. I am like super excited about it. The first convention that I went to, I had the pleasure of watching Mr. Sony and Brian Swisher like help Tracy Arline because she can't walk. She's in a wheelchair. They literally carried her across the stage to get her award. Now, y'all, it was life changing to me because I've never seen that in my whole entire life. An organization that really cares enough to have someone who is disabled and then be willing to carry them across the stage for their awards. So, and with all of the stories and the testimonies that go on at convention, it's life changing, and it really, really, really helps your business to grow, and it helps you to grow as a leader, because there is a responsibility, that comes along with this knowledge and this information that we have. So you guys always, y'all encourage me, y'all keep me encouraged and lifted. And I can't wait to see all of you and pick your brains and just spend some time with you. So thank you, Hans, for letting me share.
No, no, no. I told people, I said, that's exactly what I feel. I'm excited about convention. I want you guys to really understand that there's an opportunity here to be not only better informed, but it's going to increase your business. See, there's one thing that I'm 100% sure about. You guys go on TV today, there's somebody telling you, come into my store. There's somebody that's telling you, like, hey, come buy my food. There's somebody telling you, like, oh, this is the best tool since ever. Hey, you walk by a store and the store's like, hey, did you see my specials? We went to the restaurant last night. The waiter's like, hey, this is our specials. This is what's going on. Hey, you want me to try this? They bought a thing of, I don't eat sweets, but they bought a big thing of cakes and different. Hey, do you want the cheesecake? Do you want this? He was selling. So if he can walk into a room and say, hey, do you want any of these cakes? I want you guys to say, did you know that I could serve you with any of these products? So when I now understand the reason why I also have to take responsibility is like, hey, convention is another business opportunity for me to increase the value of how I go say, do you want the cheesecake or you want the chocolate one? I also sell strawberry, but you may not need strawberry. You need cheesecake because this is what's going to solve your problem. I don't know if it's going to send you to a hospital, but you get my point. The term, the whole life, the IUL, the 10-year annuity, this, that, or the other, these are different products, services, and options. But here's what you guys have that is the most valuable. Hey, I'm an educator. I'm a planner. You know why? Because I know plenty of advisors. My advisor, he was a great guy, still like him, but he was just like, hell, how can I manage your money? And that's all. It wasn't like, hey, by the way, did you know the rule of 72? By the way, did you know this? Some of you guys, I promise you, will be 10 times better than the general advisor. And you improve it by if you had showed up at a Spark, hey, say, hey, did you understand that these are credit card options that you can have? So now when you sit down with your client and your client says, I have this huge credit card bill, well, you may not be able to make money on it. But because you said, hey, let me show you this site on Citibank. This one's a 0% interest card. Why don't you move some of that money? We can free all that money up that you're paying in compounding interest. And now I can help you buy the life insurance policy. Because you became educated about the value that you can create in the client space. But now you got to become the McDonald's commercial. Hey, come to McDonald's. Hey, come to Burger King. Hey, come to my financial literacy house. Hey, did you know I could solve this? Hey, by the way, I can help protect your family. Hey, by the way, I can create value. Hey, by the way, I can give you a business opportunity that can create results and make more money for your family, but you got to show up in the room. When you show up in the room, everybody like a Betty Hall, Kyrie Jones, Gabriella, they add value to the mindset of your business so that you can launch your business properly so that you can create results. The results is the financial means that you're going to receive. Do you know why this is? I was talking to you about, I was talking about you, Betty Hall, with Mrs. Samad, because he was sharing me how you winning, but I'm not going to tell your business. But what I was saying was, what you guys got to understand is that the value that Betty Hall has is the ability to not only create income in her W-2 space, but she's used the last 2 years to create more financial results. The reason why she's shining today, she's driving her car, she got her hair did, is she got some extra change to create value. Gabriella just said it. I'm going to close the call because it's 12:03. Value. She said, hey, the reason why I'm possibly here, in addition to building a business, I have college promises to keep. The way you keep the promise, the way Hans keeps his promise to say, hey, Lamika, you haven't wasted 24 months with me. I'm going to create the value that I originally, so get to work. So when you come back or when you get to convention, attack. Hey, Hans, pleasure to meet you. Can I take a photo? I'm not telling you I'm a superstar, but I'm telling you, get to a Kim Howard, get to the individuals that you haven't met, get to a Rubio, say, hey, you got 2 minutes? Hey, get to arraign woman. I'm a woman. I'd like to understand what you did. How did you survive 18 years doing this when sometimes I find it difficult just to say hello to somebody? And they'll be like, yes, I felt like that too, but let me give you some value so that when you go back to your community leadership position in your state and town, you will create value that creates results, but you got to attack. There is no business if the door is not open. There is no business if you don't have information to go implement. So I love you guys. I don't want to turn into a preacher. You guys go have a great Friday. I love being on this call. I can't wait for us, the kings and queens. I can't wait to see you guys in convention. Tomorrow we have our opportunity call. We'll see each other Monday, Tuesday, and then by Thursday we're all going to be kicking and laughing and joking. And for those who are not making it, we still love you, and we're going to come back and give you more. And we're going to tell you, come to convention next year because it's not going to stop. But we're just telling you that if you have any ability to position yourself to do it now, to create the value for the next 12 months, we're still going to come back and love you and help you and do what it is because we're not mad at you. We just want to be happy with you. We want to go laugh. We want to go have some fun. We might stay a little bit longer at midnight or whatever the case is and talk about whatever we talk. The men are going to get together. The women are going to get together. Some men and women, we're just going to do it right. So go have a great Friday. Love you guys. Go have a great business. Stay on your appointment. Don't get empty-headed with the day is not over. It's 5 o'clock. We work till 5 or better and do your thing. Let's go win. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Thank you.
Do it, guys. Thank